A reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 37, False Friends. Any friend will say, "I'm your friend too." But some friends are friends only in name. Is it not a deadly sorrow when a comrade or a friend turns enemy? O evil inclination, why were you created to cover the earth with deceit? One kind of comrade congratulates a friend in prosperity, but in time of trouble appears on the other side. One kind of comrade works with a friend for the sake of his stomach, and when it comes to a fight, will carry his shield. Do not forget the genuine friend. Do not push him out of mind once you are rich. Advisors. Any advisor will offer advice, but some advise for their own best interest. Beware of someone who offers advice. First, find out what he wants himself. Since his advice coincides with his own interest, in case he is foisting his own interests on you and tells you you are on the right road, but stands well clear to see what will happen to you. Do not consult anyone who looks down on you. Conceal your plans from people jealous of you. Do not consult a woman about her rival, or a coward about war, a merchant about prices, or a buyer about selling, anyone mean about gratitude, a selfish person about kindness, an idler about any sort of work, or a casual worker about finishing a job, an idle servant about a major undertaking. Do not rely on these for any advice, but have constant recourse to some devout person whom you know to be a keeper of the commandments, whose soul matches your own, and who, if you trip up, will be sympathetic. Finally, stick to the advice your own heart gives you. No one can be truer to you than that, since a person's soul often gives a clearer warning than 7 watchmen perched on a watchtower. And besides all this, beg the Most High to guide your steps into the truth. True and false wisdom. Reason should be the basis for every activity. Reflection must come before any undertaking. Thoughts are rooted in the heart, and this puts out 4 branches: good and evil, life and death. And mistress of them always is the tongue. One kind of person is clever at teaching others, yet is no good whatever to himself. Another, very eloquent, is detested and ends lacking all food, not having won the favor of the Lord, and being destitute of all wisdom. Another considers himself wise and proclaims his intellectual conclusions as certainties. But the truly wise instructs his people, and his intellectual conclusions are certainties. The wise is showered with praise, and all who see him will call him blessed. Human life lasts a fixed number of days, but the days of Israel are beyond counting. The wise will earn honor among the people, and his name will live forever. Moderation. During your life, my child, see what suits your constitution. Do not give it what you find disagrees with it, for not everything is good for everybody, nor does everybody like everything. Do not be insatiable for any delicacy. Do not be greedy for food, for overeating leads to illness, and excess leads to dysentery. Many people have died from overeating. Look after yourself, and so prolong your life. The word of the Lord. A reading from the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 38, Medicine and Illness. Treat the doctor with the honor that is his due, in consideration of his services, for he too has been created by the Lord. Healing itself comes from the Most High like a gift received from a king. The doctor's learning keeps his head high, and the great regard him with admiration. The Lord created medicinal herbs from the ground, and no one sensible will despise them. Did not a piece of wood once sweeten the water, so that its power should be known? He has also given some people knowledge, so as to be glorified by his mighty works. He uses these for healing and relieving pain. The druggist makes up a mixture from them. Thus, there is no end to his activities. Thanks to him, peace exists on the face of the earth. My child, when you are ill, do not overlook it, but pray to the Lord and he will heal you. Renounce your faults, keep your hands unsoiled, and cleanse your heart from all sin. Offer incense and a memorial of fine flour. Make as rich an offering as you can afford. Then give way to the doctor. The Lord created him too. Do not let him leave you, for you need him. There are times when good health depends on doctors, for they in their turn will pray to the Lord to grant them the grace to relieve and to heal, and so prolong life. Whoever sins in the eyes of his Maker, let such a one come under the care of the doctor. Mourning. My child, shed tears over the dead. Lament for the dead to show your sorrow. Then prepare the body with due ceremony, and do not neglect the grave. Weep bitterly, beat your breast. Observe the mourning the dead deserves for 1 day or 2, to avoid criticism, and then be comforted in your sorrow, for grief can lead to death. A grief-stricken heart cripples the strength. In affliction, sorrow persists. A life of grief is hard to bear. Do not abandon your heart to grief. Drive it away. Bear your own end in mind. Do not forget, there is no coming back. You cannot help the dead, and you will harm yourself. Remember my doom, since it will be yours too. For me, yesterday. For you, today. In the rest of the dead, let their memory rest. Be comforted for the dead once the spirit has departed. Trades and crafts. The wisdom of the scribe lies in the opportunity for leisure. Only someone with few commitments can become wise. How can the plowman become wise, whose sole ambition is to wield the goad, driving his oxen, engrossed in their work, his conversation limited to bullocks, his thoughts absorbed in the furrows he traces? He stays up late to feed the heifers. Similarly with all workmen and craftsmen, toiling day and night. Those who engrave seals, aiming to make them varied, thoughts absorbed on making a good likeness, staying up late to finish the work. Similarly with the blacksmith, sitting by his anvil, intent on his iron work. The breath of the fire scorches his skin as he contends with the heat of the furnace. The noise of the hammer deafens him. His eyes are fixed on the pattern, his thoughts absorbed on getting the job done well. He stays up late to apply the finish. Similarly, with the potter sitting at his work, turning the wheel with his feet, constantly on the alert over his work, all of his work in rhythm. He pummels the clay with his arm and with his feet. He kneads it. His thoughts absorbed on finishing the glaze, he stays up late to clean the kiln. All these people rely on their hands, and each is skilled at his own craft. A town could not be inhabited without them. They stay in one place. They do not travel. But you will not find them in the parliament. They do not hold high rank in the assembly. They do not sit on the judicial bench. And they do not meditate on the law. They do not demonstrate culture or judgment, nor do they concern themselves with parables. They sustain the structure of the world, and their prayer is concerned with their trade. The word of the Lord.